Thank you to Julian Porter and Bexhill Museum for highlighting this really interesting newspaper article from the Bexhill Observer, titled "Was Mr. Owen a Nazi Spy?" Was the mysterious guest of an Albany Road landlady in 1940 one of the German spies carrying out reconnaissance work in preparation for a Nazi invasion? This is the question preying on the mind of a 79-year-old Olive Botting of Jameson Road. After reading in the Observer some weeks ago about the discovery of a detailed South Coast map in a German gun emplacement, memories have come flooding back to her from the time in the early 1940s when her family ran a guest house at Albany Road, Bexhill. She remembers the arrival of one guest in particular. She says, "Nobody was allowed into the town except on business, and I remember a man calling himself Mr. Owen, asking for a room at our guest house. He said he had to audit the books at West Bexhill Station." Miss Botting describes the man as aged between 30 and 40 years old, medium height, slight build with greying hair. He stayed at the guest house for about 3 weeks, and during that time was always out from breakfast until evening meal. He was always very late going to bed, and my mother, who never retired until everybody else in the house had done so, became curious about the man staying in the lounge on his own for so long. She could see into the room through a crack in the door and found he was developing photographs. The Botting family became suspicious of the secretive Mr. Owen because he always sat alone at mealtimes and was unwilling to stop for a chat. After Mr. Owen's sudden departure, a letter arrived at Albany Court for him. "We rang up the West Station," Miss Botting says, "to find a forwarding address, but the station master said he had never heard of Mr. Owen." Miss Botting's mother contacted the police, but no more was heard of the matter. "Looking back now," Miss Botting says, "I realise I should have told the police much earlier, but you just don't think of that at the time. Now I can't help wondering if he was one of the spies collecting information on the area for the Germans."